Alright, hey guys, and welcome to Ocarina of Time Bingo. So, I'll have like the board already up on screen. Usually that's something that only appears when we start, but for the sake of getting the layout fixed, this was the way to go. And yeah, welcome everybody. I hope you've had a blast so far. Let's just get this file creation over with, and then we're good to go. So I'll give a countdown, and then we can start off the timer. All right, we ready?
Yep.
Perfect. 3, 2, 1, go. So, hey everybody, this is Ocarina of Time Bingo. I'm Hyperion64, and I'm taking you on a journey to the bingo scene. So, we're usually getting a seed at the start of a race. This is a typical race scenario, but of course everybody can play this by themselves. A bingo means you get a board with 5 times 5 goals, and your goal is to complete goals such that 5 form a row, column, or diagonal. And there are many games that offer bingos, but Ocarina of Time is maybe the one with one of the longest traditions. Thanks everybody, and yeah, there's been like a lot of different versions we've gone through, and this is the current live version that we're using for races. And you use the intro to check all of the other things. So I'm scanning the board for goal combinations, and the boards are fairly well balanced, so you could probably pick any of the rows, and if you know what you're doing, it can have a similar target time. But of course there can be rows that may be a little better, some are a little worse. And this is done by a generator that estimates how long individual goals take and how long they take in combination. So we have like all these different choices. We can choose 5 rows, 5 columns, or 2 diagonals. And there are plenty of rows that are pretty cool, but for the sake of showing off some cool stuff and it like having some sort of diversity with cool synergies, I think we'll go for column 4, and this is pretty exciting. Like, this is one of the, I guess, the few goals that were added in the latest version with clear 10 silver rupee rooms. And yeah, I've only played bingos for like 7 years, so I wasn't among the first people to start out with it. Yeah, so column 4 offers Beat the Deku Tree, open 3 boss key doors, Ice Cavern Heart Piece, 6 unused keys in Grotto Training Grounds, and clear 10 silver rupee rooms. I'll go a little over those as we progress. And yeah, so there's always a bit of preparation time to get yourself started, to get like the base requirements. But this game, if you're applying glitches, is very non-linear. You can access almost any area from the get-go. And alright, so at first we're starting out with fairly basic stuff. Usually that means you're grabbing a sword, maybe a shield. But for this row, it has a lot of synergy of things that you can do as adult. So I think yeah, okay. What's a bit tough is making a decision of when to like skip equipment and when to get things. Like, you don't want to over prepare, but you may regret skipping out something that would have been fairly short. And yeah, imagine what a Bingod Link would have been. Alright, so we're having the sword, and usually you need to beat the Deku Tree and then escape the forest and talk to Zelda and stuff, but guess what? We're not doing any of that. Besides the Deku Tree, like, that is part of our goals. Whoa, we're about all that weeding today. Somebody has to take care of the forest after all. Yeah, so there are rows that have goals that require you to be child, some goals require you to be adult, and some goals require you to be both. So in general, a lot of rows require you to perform some sort of preparation as child or as adult, usually both. This row is very adult heavy, like Deku Tree is a child dungeon, but we can enter it as adult, and we'll use that actually. Okay, yes, I am escaping the forest, but this little trick allows us to clip through a corner of that area and not talk to the Deku Tree or other things. So I'll be explaining a few of the glitches as I go on. I may not be able to cover all of them, but if you have any specific questions, just feel free to ask. Like, this is pretty cool. Yeah, there are plenty of frame-perfect tricks in the game, but it's only running at 20 visual frames per second, so that's not that impressive. So a lot of people have unbuffered visuals, like references they could use. So I'll abuse a trick called pause buffering later. Oh my god. Okay, that was a bit overshooting the target there. Come on. This is just like an easy whiz. Wow, okay. This is the easy setup. This is not the forward side up jump slash strat. Okay. This is a trick called water extended super slide. So you get recoil from the jump slash wall, from jump slashing the wall, and you're maintaining that velocity. And okay, with that, Link is entering a shuffling state, and that is considered as like busy, as in he's currently doing something important besides walking, which allowed us to skip talking to an owl that was waiting for you, like it's intercepting you at that point. And like there are many other uses for it, but it's mostly to go fast, which is what most actions in this category will be targeted at. But bingo is surprisingly routing heavy, so it's not just you follow a set route like in RTA categories. You have to not just adapt to things on the fly, such as bomb drops or whatever, but you also have to like plan this weird combination of goals. Like most of these combinations is something you've never seen. And it's like, of course, combinations can be familiar to some extent, but like it's very unique in what it offers in that aspect. Okay, so this is just we're grabbing the cuckoos and putting all of them into a pen to get the first bottle, and that bottle is not really used for keeping fairies and other things, but we're using it for glitches. And we'll use it for a lot of big glitches, and I'll start explaining some of that later. And yeah, slashing the cuckoos allows you to let them walk into a better direction, not just randomly mess up stuff. But yeah, if you slash them too much, they'll start getting angry, and we all know what angry cuckoos like to do. They start chasing children, and we want to save the children here. Oh my god. Okay. Alright, let's do the backup strat, shall we? So usually you go to bottom of the well, because it's an easy way to get your first set of explosives, and explosives are very broken in this game for various reasons. So it's a proper sequence break to do that. In this case, I'm not too interested in that, but bottom of the well has something that is very interesting, and that is a silver rupee room. So I'm just going to grab the rupees here. Nice platforming. Yeah, bottle adventure, or mostly reverse bottle adventure here, will be the pretty game-breaking glitch. And there will also be wrong warps and other stuff, so this is really combining a lot of neat tricks. In fact, I don't have to leave this, but I'm actually just safe warping out here because it's faster than walking back. So I should also fix the layout here. So I've just marked column 4 as the place where I'll start doing the goals. Alright, so we got our bottle, we got a silver rupee room cleared. And that'll be it for Child Link. We don't need to do anything else. Usually we'd be beating child dungeons to open the door of time, become Adult Link, finish the goals that would be either too tedious or too slow to do as child. Okay, so I screwed up a bit of the movement earlier. That's why it turned night very early, but the bridge chains are still unloaded. So that allows us to get onto the bridge chains, update them by being in visual range, and then use that to... Let's just climb up at the front, shall we? Once that's updated, it'll teleport you to the new location, and that is on top. I'm just grabbing a shield now because it's more convenient than doing that later. Yeah, Schrodinger's chains, that's pretty cool. No, so there are other games that have a requirement of game completion, such as Super Mario 64, but Ocarina of Time is none of those, because it would be kind of weird to route around that. Like, it's not very intuitive, and it would mess up a lot of the row synergies. Like, it's not hard to complete the game, but it's not fun, or it doesn't add anything. So, in order to get past here, we're using the side hop speed with a very precise angle to clip out of bounds. And then we're getting back inbounds by retargeting a wall that'll direct our backwards momentum forwards again. And then we like hump the side of this collision and then get back inbounds when the door collision is no longer like an issue, like once we're past the door pretty much. Okay. Yeah, beat Ganon was a goal, but it was never a requirement for every row. So in this case, I could do like all of the goals, beat the Deku Tree, wrong warp to the Ganon's castle collapse area, and then beat Ganon afterwards. Like, that would be fairly convenient. But it's not always the case. Like, a lot of these rows would be very annoying. So, because it's a bit of a... Like, it doesn't add anything in Ocarina of Time, in my opinion, if you have it as a requirement. Okay, but I'll quickly explain a few things. So, we have open 3 boss key doors. And boss key doors are only a thing in the temples, which are the adult dungeons in the game. So opening 3 of them means you have to reach the place, then you have to have the respective boss key, and then you just step through it. There's nothing crazy about that. But that also means we need to collect boss keys. For example, Fire Temple has a boss door that is like accessible in the first or the second room you enter. However, getting to the Fire Temple boss key usually means you'll have to go through all the temple, get the respective item, and then use the item to get the secret engines to the boss key area, then go through some fights and other rooms, and then grab it. And stuff like that would make things really long. Like, open 3 boss key doors is a fairly long goal, to be fair. But for us, we're using it to like not bother too much with the slow boss keys. And like, there will be a lot of magic happening that'll be hard to keep up with. So I may just start explaining a little bit about what is going to happen. And don't worry if I'm losing anyone, I'll try to at least get the gist of it across. So when you catch something in a bottle, the game keeps track of where in your inventory it was, because you can have multiple bottles with multiple individual contents. And for that, the game just, like, whenever you equip something to one of your equipment buttons, it also stores which bottle number in the inventory it's the corresponding content, so it can not only update the C button, but also your inventory. Like, if you obtain an item, like a sword, it always knows where to put it. But if you get bugs in a bottle, it doesn't know where to put it. Yeah. So, catching things in a bottle just means you swing the bottle. And if there's something in a bottle, you can use the bottle and potentially drop the contents. That's how it works in this game. I don't know about real life. And so what we're doing is, using a trick, we can get a bottle on our B button. And that B button bottle will also, like, it runs the same code as all of your equipment buttons. So it's trying to look which in-game bottle that corresponds to. And in order to do that, actually the door of time is still up as adult if we load this area. So I can't just walk past the door, like it's solid. In order to get back, I'd either need to perform a glitch requiring an item which I don't have, or I'll just save warp, which is very fast and also very easy. Okay, so to talk about things again, the B button is trying to look for the place of the bottle contents, if I'm updating it, to update our inventory. But it's looking at a spot that is currently occupied by something else. And by manipulating that something else, we can figure out where the game is writing the information to. Like, you don't need to understand all of that. It's pretty much just, we're updating a bottle on our B button, but the inventory that gets updated corresponding to it will be manipulated by us. And I'll show you the door later if you want to. It's not loaded there. And don't worry, guys, people can troll a ton about stuff, but A lot of people who troll are knowledgeable, but they just refuse to acknowledge all the stuff they're knowing. So I got my bugs. Those are pretty good for abusing game bugs. And now we're using something that works well as an offset in the inventory to access things that have useful results, for the lack of any better word. Okay, so we need explosives. I didn't get any explosives as child, so that'll be pretty handy to have. Explosives make us go fast, and they open certain areas that would be restricted. And they're used for certain glitches that allow us to go to places where we shouldn't go. I save warp back to the Temple of Time to access this area faster. This is Ganon's castle, and it's very scary if it's compared to the previous castle, which we never looked at in this playthrough. But in order to make this like a more spooky place, the in-game time is set to like 6:30 in the evening, roughly. And that's faster than just waiting outside of Hyrule Fields for time to pass. Okay. Yeah, so explaining Reverse Bottle Adventure is a bit hard to do in a short time, and like I didn't understand it the first time I heard it, so don't worry about that. We're just manipulating like values that we can write into specific places of our inventory, but this is fairly limited as well, but it works out to an amazing degree. So this is a pole. It wasn't really in our way, but we actually use the pole as an offset later. And this is also where stuff is getting confusing. So I used something called Quick Draw Bottle on B. So by like pressing the sword as I was getting submerged in water, I was able to store it as the last button pressed. So now the magic's happening. I'm dropping and recatching bugs while having different things on my C right button. And that's the thing that'll correspond to stuff in my inventory, and most of that is not visible besides the bottle button that is on my bombs. So this is the crucial part. Like if you think of it, of me having a bottle in my bomb slot, but I have the bombs equipped as of right now, that's because the game updated the bottle on B and the corresponding inventory slot, but not like the C button that was attached to it. So this is like where the game is derailing a little. Like there are connections between our actions, but they're not the usual ones. And all of this time of day management was to hatch this cuckoo, and we're using that to our advantage later, or pretty much right now. We're going through the trading quest, but not to get the Bigoron sword, to get Kojiro. This is the cuckoo that'll be next up. And that one allows us to reach other cool values. So for convenience sake, I'm using this. Now I have the Adult's Wallet, and now I have Black Gauntlets. Black Gauntlets are not usual gauntlets in the game. They're mostly comparable to Golden Gauntlets, like they can lift the same stuff Golden Gauntlets can. But they're glitched, like you can't obtain them by any other means. Now I'll do the same thing with the blue cuckoo, Kojiro, on my right C button. And that gave me a glitched quiver, the highest bomb bag upgrade. And wow, the bomb luck, that is pretty sick. Yeah, like don't worry if you didn't understand what was happening. Like I just got a lot of stuff in my inventory that I could use. So I can get bomb drops because my bomb slot is not empty, and I can keep bomb drops, as in a non-zero value of my amount, by having a bomb bag that holds the bombs. So now the Poe is getting his revenge. He hit me. The difference was I didn't die from it. In fact, I'll quickly reload this grave. This is a very convenient method to get bombs, and we need a lot of bombs here. Okay. It's sometimes hard to know in advance how many bombs you'll need. But 15 is a good start. Especially if you're new and you may fail certain tricks, you may want to go like safe, not sorry. But yeah, it's okay. There are some places where you can get bombs as well. But Dampy is trying to be a bit of a hassle today. I don't know what he had for breakfast. No, okay, that was my bad. Like sometimes you can't do that much about the flames because he's dropping them as you're rolling. But yeah, this is a non-ideal time, let's put it like that. It's good enough for the heart piece, but yeah. We'll do better next time. Okay, so the magic is already over of that, but there will be more glitches to come. So what you need to take away of that is that I got a few things into my inventory, and among that were 29 bomb chews. So you have a lot of things that you can manipulate in your inventory, but you can't get like light arrows in your inventory from this bottle trick. We're avoiding out here on purpose to get back to the entrance. Okay, so I'm quickly using this, like it's a little more convenient to farm bombs here. Alright, so I'll have to be very careful not to equip over my bomb icon, because that's currently a bottle slot, and if I equip that over once... Oh wait, does this work? I think this is too far to the right. Yeah, okay, let me quickly cancel this. This'll take like another 2 bobs or something. No. Dude, okay. Okay, this is better. So, I'm in a very weird state right now. Oh my god. Okay, this never happened twice. Like, okay, I'll need to... Like, this is a weird invincibility state, and there's only like a few frames of movement that actually happen in between. And... Okay, wait. Dude, no! No, 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 no. Okay, we can figure that out. I don't know what's going on with this. Okay. This is a weird state to cancel as well. Like, this is one of these fail-safe tricks that you're never concerned about until it fails and then you're out of practice. Okay, let's just take it slow. How is this not working? Oh my god. Okay. I was mixing up 2 setups. Okay, so there's a glitch that I never explained. It's called Infinite Sword Glitch, short ISG. Um, the thing with that is it prevents any vertical movement, I should say. So it couldn't propel me up. Like what I'm doing here is I'm interrupting the hookshot pulling me towards the hut. Okay, there we go. And that is giving you a ton of vertical upward speed. I'll have to get ISG from this pole. Usually I'm using Navi, but this is a little finicky. Dude. Okay. Backup plans. We're doing some old school strats, because why not? That's the cool thing about bingos. You always have backup strats that you can fall back to. And this one actually uses Infinite Sword Glitch. Okay. Okay, so what I'm doing here is called a Okay. I forgot. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff going on right now. I'm having a strength upgrade that allows you to pick up bushes. This trick requires you to not have strength, otherwise you teleport the bush to you, not you towards the bush. And what you're usually doing is you're just doing this type of seam walk. So this is an out of bounds area that you're not supposed to walk on. And this is fairly precise, but we're using this infinite sword glitch that kind of means you're swinging your sword at every possible moment. That's why it's glowing, like it's starting to swing every frame. And that allows you, because the game doesn't want you to fall off edges during the start of your swinging animation, it's preventing you from falling off of ledges. Okay, now we're inside of Shadow Temple, and Shadow Temple is pretty neat. We're not going to the boss key area there. That requires Stella's Lullaby, but it has a key item called the hover boots that is used for a lot of glitches actually. And you can oftentimes go without the glitch, but it's slower in almost all cases, so this is pretty much a staple in bingos. Okay, so you can attack him while he's walking away and interrupt the 2 cycle that way. And that is just like speeding up boss fights, basically. There are many strats for all sorts of bosses and enemies that you can utilize. Some of them require or utilize Infinite Sword Glitch because it's just really awesome at ditching out a lot of damage quickly. But the limiting factor is usually what the invincibility frames of a boss are. And sometimes they have dodging mechanics that makes it hard because they're constantly jumping away from you. And so the reason I'm here is for getting another silver rupee rune. And this is the so-called truth spinner, which can be any of the 3 torches that are furthest away. And I don't know which one it is. I just know it's one of the 3. So I'm just going through them and it'll change whenever I reset the room. Okay. So now that we've got that puzzle solved by brute forcing it, let's continue further down the dungeon. So what happened at the graveyard with that super slide teleport was quite interesting. You have a lot of mechanics working together to make that happen. And the super slide pretty much happens when you have damage knocking against your shield while you're in a particular state of the roll or invulnerability in general through Nairu's Love, for example. This is a bit of a weird movement through the room. Usually you're heading downwards for gate skip and then progress down the boat. So I got one silver rupee room already, and there are plenty more to come. So I'm just utilizing this as the core component because the 10 silver rupees are one of the longer goals here. And there is like a decent amount of either preparation going into longer goals or execution. And in that case, it just means visiting a lot of areas that are usually out of the way. So this trap room is not that scary. Actually, I'm using hover boots here. Usually I jump down to the right, but with my luck today, that's not advisable. And yeah, there's also a clip past the gate here. But since we want to collect the rupees for the goal, we're not using the glitches. I'm jumping through this moving platform because it doesn't have collision on a certain part of the downwards movement. And we're just needing more keys in this case to progress further into the dungeon, get to another silver rupee room. So these things are on a cycle, so you can usually know what you're doing. Alright, so this is the third room in here. And after that we're out. Like, this is literally just to get the rupee rooms, because this is a convenient spot. Alright, let's go. So next up, we're kind of wrapping up the preparation. And that just means we need to be able to traverse the place a little. And we use warp songs for that. You can't get a lot of warp songs as child because they're either not there or you can't access the... Well, you can do crazy wrong warps in the game to pretty much get anything at any age. But in this case, let's just say it's not viable to get any weird songs as child. Requiem is possible easily. And yeah, this is just allowing us to get out of dungeons without doing all these safe warps and backtracking. And we'll have to go to Deku Tree and Ice Cavern later. So if we had to do that all the time from one place, like the Temple of Time as an example, that would be really long.
would we have time for a quick donation now?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Right, we have $5 from Anonymous saying minigame hype because it's going to the minigame incentive at the end of Pokemon Stadium, and we're just $95 short of that. You have still the entirety of this bingo and the next run to donate towards this. But a small reminder that each and every one of your dollars go into supporting Save for the Children. Thank you very much for all of your donations.
Yeah, keep those donations coming. Always delighted to get interrupted by that and not by a weird rolling Goron who's trolling me right now. Okay, so we're quickly grabbing the tunic here. Actually, it's not a big deal, no matter whether we grab it or not. But on the Japanese version, it's kind of fast nonetheless. So why are we playing on Japanese? Usually the answer is because it's faster. In this case, there are no Japanese exclusive glitches because there are like 3 different releases on like NTSC-CU and NTSC-J. It's just that the text doesn't require as many characters to display in Japanese on average. That's why the text goes by faster, since one character usually takes 1 frame in all of these like cutscenes and text boxes. But yeah, we used to play bingo on English all the time. Now we have like the option to play bingo on English or Japanese. So that would be kind of, no matter what version you're having, you can still play the game. Of course, you can also play it on the PAL version, but that may not be that recommended because the glitch setups there are different. But okay, I'll take it back. PAL is a region that inhibits like a lot of people from running the game, so they usually grab other consoles to do bingos. So here I'm dying while I'm entering a cutscene, so I'm getting recoiled back from the explosion and then die. So I don't have to talk to Sheik and still learn the Bolero of Time. Bolero of Fire. I'm quickly using that occasion to get up there really quickly and grab a bomb refill. Oh, well, that poor bomb drop will disappear. Oh no. Okay, so I'll be heading out of here now. Oh. Okay, so we're having some explosives, we can put them to good use. And you can use like all sorts of things to super slide with, or not. You can also HES, which is a similar method, but you're not grabbing an object and then get recoiled back, but you're in that special like type of movement state. And that is good enough to allow you to maintain the speed that you get during 1 frame of the knockback. And we don't have dive meter, but there's an option as adult as well. It's just requiring a different corner of the place to clip through, because the adult textures are different. So this is Sora's domain. that we're about to enter now. So we were just able to roll past the waterfall that's supposed to drag you down, and the hover boots allowed us to stay in air for long enough to get that to work out. And just grab the ledge. Like, that's not even a glitch. But yeah, it's pretty complicated what is defined as a glitch and what isn't in the game. But yeah, there are, like, most glitches are allowed for bingo. It's only if it's really making different versions or consoles having a huge advantage that they're banned for competition's sake. And right now that was King Zora's skip because we never moved him as child. He was still blocking the way. Meaning we'd want to just clip out of bounds by jump slashing into an acute angle. And then you can swim up there, because out of bounds water extends all the way up. In this game usually, like, the water boxes are lazily coded to go into places they're maybe not expected to be at. But you don't notice it in regular gameplay, because you're not accessing these areas. Okay, so here you can either fight all of the 4 freezers and open the door, or if you're hookshotting through him while being at the door, you can just clip through like that. Alright, so we didn't actually want to go there. We're just in here for the Ice Cavern Heart piece. But in order to get there, we'd need blue fire, and that would be at that location as well. But instead of using that, there are different ways to clip past this red ice. One is using a bomb explosion, and one is just clipping us out of bounds with... Okay. 1 second, I got this. So what I mentioned earlier with the pause buffering is that you can simply advance frame by frame in the game. And that is fairly convenient because frame perfect tricks don't get that scary anymore. And we don't need to use blue fire for that trick either. What we simply did was we put down a bomb because a bomb has a hitbox, and that hitbox allowed us to kind of get closer to where it's pushing us. And then the recoil pushes you back far enough into it to not have to worry about any sort of, like, not being able to interact with it. So now I'm doing a bit of weird movement to not have to push the block. Here you can also just clip through the red ice and interact with the hitbox. And I was able to skip another red ice. Okay, let's not fall off here, please. Okay, that one was in the way. Alright, with that out of the way, I can actually showcase a cool glitch called Ocarina items. Yeah, so let me quickly mark that goal. And I'm catching something in my bottle, and now I'm performing a mid-air sword pull, which allows me to force the game into an animation. And since the bottle doesn't have like an animation with that number that it's defaulting to, it's playing the like the normal animation that is, I don't know, it's animation number 0, I guess. That would be playing the ocarina, and you can just input all of the notes without having a staff show up, and if you've learned the song, it'll still be played. And that is pretty sick stuff. Like, we have a lot of tech that we can utilize. I'm just doing a safety save here. Wait, game feed froze. Didn't freeze from me. Okay. Ice cavern was too cold. So here we're actually trolling the stream right now, because I'm supposed to. Wait, can you not interact with doors? Okay, you can. I just couldn't get into the right spot. This is a trick called a weird shot. You're pretty much interacting with the bomb, getting pushed away, and then interrupting your animation at a specific frame where the camera glitches out of bounds. And first-person items that can aim, like the hook shot, will still have like a viable thing, and there's no collision detection from underneath there. So what I simply did was I had a hook-shottable target, abused the fact that was there, and pulled myself next to the boss key chest instead of going through all of the dungeon. Now I'm doing this neat little glitch again that's called... Oh. I don't know. It has a name. I forgot. It's used in Majora's Mask more prominently. So here you can target the wall to have your camera align, and then turn around, and then trigger the switch as you're triggering the cutscene. That allows you to move freely. And actually we want to get rid of his conversation, so we don't have to talk to him. We're not completely opposed to the concept of talking to people. That's not the point. The point is that we're not interested in wasting time for a good cause. So this was the first door I went through, and I'm not going to fight the boss, of course. Actually, I'll just play the song to get out. Time stop, thank you. There's timer stop and time stop. But yeah, so I'm just doing ocarina items again. Hopefully not misplaying the song. So this was my first door that I opened. And I know this seems like I haven't really done much, but this is the vast majority of the bingo that is past us already. Okay, so we're going to the Gerudo area for now. That'll allow us to do a little bit more in terms of preparation. And then we can finish in Ganon's castle, and this is just the most convenient way of going there. Yeah, there's pretty much non-stop glitches happening in the game, and it's really hard to explain all of those, so bear with me that, like, it's pretty hard. Like, if you're doing a category, you know which glitches to expect, and while I usually know how to perform them, I can't always, like, pick up all of the background information in a heartbeat while trying to get my 10 silver rupee rooms routed out. Yeah, imagine doing glitchless bingo. That would be kind of comparable to, I don't know. Maybe glitchless any percent with some out of the way things in a dungeon. But yeah, the non-linearity of the game, that you can break everything really, that is pretty OP. So that was a super slide once more. That was just to get to this place. And here you're usually using Epona to jump across the bridge, or something like the long shot. There are many ways possible, to be fair. What we're doing though is we're super sliding and then equipping the hover boots. That allows us to maintain that speed and not drop down immediately. So we're using just all of that to go across, no big deal. And that allows us to enter Gerudo Fortress without having to steal Epona or anything else. Yeah, Gerudo Valley music is pretty cool. You'll hear that for a bit longer, I guess. It's daytime, so the Gerudo Guard vision is a little better than usual. But this allows us to access Gerudo training grounds. Like, we're not... Usually you have to get the Gerudo membership card by defeating some fighters and freeing carpenters that got imprisoned there. But this wouldn't be OT bingo if there wasn't a way around it, and yeah, we're just glitching through some ceilings, no big deal. Now we're glitching into the fence, and that allows us to side hop down here. And now we're going out of bounds again with the same strat that we did in Ice Cavern. Just a different type of setup. You're not using side rolls here to clip through, but instead you side hop into the edge. And now we're just back walking into the loading zone. Alright. Yeah, this game is a lot of fun to reverse engineer. So you're wondering, why am I going into this room where you utilize the keys if I'm trying to collect unopened keys? I'm not going to open any of them, but I still need to be here. Let me quickly focus on this. I'm pretty bad at doing them unbuffered if I'm talking at the same time. Okay, we're back. So this is a neat key location that we can grab. And I also want ice arrows. I'm not actually shooting things with the ice arrows, to be fair, but they have a different property. So as you remember, or as you might remember, I was doing things with Reverse Bottle Adventure earlier to glitch things into my inventory. And guess what? Ice arrows actually allow us to do cool things with Reverse Bottle Adventure that'll come in handy here. And it's not manipulating Silver Rupee rooms. We're using it to get the Water Temple boss key into our inventory without ever opening the chest, but it opens the boss door, which is what really matters. And I'm also grabbing bomb juice here. That allows us to stack up with the previous amount that I got, which was 29 bomb juice. Actually, I'll use hover boots here. And the chest contained 5 bomb juice. I should have done the other thing first, actually. I'll just super slide there. It's not a big deal. If it was, I can always reload the room. Well, that just happened. Okay, no worries. I'm just doing another weird shot to get there. Actually, I'll just go through normally. I need to fight through that room anyway. Wait, I want to get up there. So it usually requires you to get the Song of Time to spawn blocks to get up there. Okay, okay. We don't have Song of Time. We could have grabbed it through Reverse Bottle Adventure, but that's not the point. We don't want to go out of our way to grab things that don't really help. Like, yeah, it does. Nonetheless, we're just going through this portion again. Just have to go out again and not get wrecked by the appearing flame circle. So yeah, the hookshot is too little to hook up to the target, so we have to go to the torch and then to this part instead. Alright, so now we're heading back. That was clutch. Now we're heading back to the entrance and going to collect our final rupee room. So here I'm using a technique called power crouch stabbing. That pretty much means, nice bomb drop, I deal the same damage as my last normal attack. And my last normal attack was a jump slash, which is the strongest attack Link can pull off. But the crouch stab is just like empowered with that value, because the game doesn't have the crouch stab value hard-coded into it. And that's pretty neat to ditch out a lot of damage quickly. Okay. I was trying to crouch step him, but he was a little faster than me, it seems. Okay. This room has quicksand, which slows down the acceleration of your movement, and I'll just use infinite sword glitch. Like, that's technically the scrub strat, but maybe I can go on scrub mode today. So what you're doing is just you're getting infinite sword glitch and then don't have to worry about their unhindered mobility as opposed to you being super slow. And then you're just running around waiting for them to stop dodging. And then everything's fine. And so yeah, this is infinite sword glitch combined with power crouch stabbing. So it means every frame that I'm connecting with a target that is not in invincibility state allows me to ditch out jump slash damage. Okay, so this is the final rupee room. Not out of my whole 10, like we're only at 8 right now, but I'll get 2 more in Ganon's castle. And they'll be quite neat. So I'm just going through the different trials. Like technically, Go to Training Grounds is supposed to like have you complete rooms with puzzles and other things. But we don't need to do that. RBA for 2069, that's quite an interesting name. Welcome to the stream. So I bottle duped over ice arrows to be able to receive arrow drops, and I already had a quiver in my inventory through Reverse Bottle Adventure and Kojiro earlier. Like the blue Kuko that gave me the bomb back as well. And that allows me to shoot arrows now as if I had obtained the fairy bow normally. So that's quite neat. And you don't need magic to use ice arrows, they'll just act like normal arrows if you don't have magic. Let's just get a more favorable angle for the shot. Alright, so this is an easy key to grab. And here we go for the final key. That door only opens once you've shot the statue, and you can't weird shot through here, you'd end up in the door below it. So that actually completes the 6 unused keys in the training grounds. And that also gave us ice arrows without having to use all of our spare keys. Oh yeah, red is what I have to do, like to symbolize my role, and green is what I've completed so far. But the remaining things are fairly small, and I've done a lot of preparation for those already. Okay, let's... Actually, this is fairly convenient. Like, I did not grab the iron boots in Ice Cavern. That would have also given me Serenade to teleport to Water Temple. But since I don't need that, I can just walk there by going through this place. Yeah, OOT bingos usually tend to have like a lot of preparation, especially if it's an all-adult role. Like you have pretty much every goal that you just complete as adult, and there's usually only like bottle preparation as child. I think we can get a side-up jump slash off this wall. That would be neat, wouldn't it? Okay, so that's giving us the whole jump slash momentum through the whole area. And now we can even extend that into a tiny super swim. There's a lot of methods to get into Water Temple without actually having iron boots and other cool stuff. We'll use a fairly old school one since that's where I'm spawning right now. And I'm quickly checking. Yeah, I have enough bombs to finish the rest of the bingo. I did not explain a lot about setups in this place. Like, oh my god, I clicked back in bones. A lot of things are very precise in Ocarina of Time, not just down to frame perfect input, but also with regards to other things. I can just drop down here. And that is something that requires steady movement and consistent angles that you get from these movements. And we abuse like the set length of rolls, the set angles you get from certain other inputs. And just you guys know, I'm only here to open the boss key door. And that'll be a very fun objective, since I already... Actually, no, I could get the boss key in another place as well, but... So what I did last time was, I was entering water to interrupt the drawing animation, but that can also be done in other ways. One of them is getting recoil. And now I have bottle on B again. And now I have the map and the boss key. And now I can get my sword back on B again. Perfect. I'll try to go for swag strats right now. See if we can get that to work out. Okay, that takes too long. You can mega setup off a lot of enemy attacks as well. It's pretty precise, but there are setups to get things to work. The point is we just need to get over here without getting the long shot. So hover boots make it very easy to get up here, and now we can just open the door since we have the boss key in our inventory. I know this seems like cheating, but it acts like we obtained the real boss key from the chest. Like the chest is closed, but we still have the flag in our inventory, and I can showcase that off as well. Okay, so we're out in 2 out of 3 boss key doors, 8 out of 10 silver rupee rooms, and beating the Deku Tree. Yeah, this is like writing values into your inventory, but this is not through outside means, this is just from normal in-game actions. And this is not comparable to arbitrary code execution, which we do have in Ocarina of Time by now as well. There are so many ways to break this game, and it's like diversity in glitches is not remotely done justice by what I'm pulling off right now. So I know I'm showing like back-to-back glitches in a lot of areas, but I'm swearing like this is not even a fraction of the glitch diversity this game has to offer. There's a really huge glitch finding scene, and there has been new stuff called stale reference manipulation and arbitrary code execution, things that we got from various means, and you can do so much with the game right now, it's crazy. So I'm entering Deku Tree as adults, which is usually not possible because the Deku Tree is closed. But we'll make an exception because we're not public people, we're very VIP people. This is the first time I'm abusing pause buffering to advance frames. It's a frame perfect equip, so I have to pause anyway to equip, so I may as well use that. So we're pretty much just using the unpause leg to pause again until we advance a frame, and the input window for that is... the door was unloaded, by the way, so I could just move through. The remaining collision was left intact, but the door is a movable actor. Okay, Deku Tree. Deku Tree has a lot of options to go through it as well. We just want to go to the boss room for now. Like, we want to beat the Deku Tree. No other things are relevant here. So for that, we're going to go to Morpha's lair, but it's really tedious, and I don't even have Deku sticks. Okay, I missed the Navitex skip. As adults, having been to multiple bosses, we finally learn that we have to press A to open doors. Alright. So we're grabbing this at a very specific place, so we can get pulled into the ground, and then we do a jump slash recoil off the side of that part. Oh lord, I forgot to grab Deku Nuts. This is like a backup strat that some people may not even know. I suppose I thought I could grab it in a Shadow Temple, but I hit the wrong pot before Dead Hand, and then I never grabbed any. Don't worry, we got this. Bingo players always have backup strats. Like, of course I could just save warp out and it'll be fine. Just verifying. Yeah, I don't have any. So I'm just forcing an attack, then waiting for it, and then it realizes, wait, there's this pillar. I haven't checked this pillar out in a long time. Let's just climb to the ceiling and do our fun stuff. that allows us to interact with the hitbox by using the hookshot, boomerang, bomb juice, and a lot of other weapons also work, but it's just sometimes hard to set up. Yeah, it's crazy because like there's a different community kind of for bingos that's not only the RTA people. So for now, I have to get out of the room. I could just step into the warp, beat the Deku Tree, but I still have 2 remaining goals left. And they are best to be like completable in Ganon's castle. And like for example, there's a slightly faster strat to get down to the Deku Tree basement as adult. That is involving a precise mega flip to go out of bounds and then a little bit of movement to jump slash back in bounds in the loading zone area. So if you practice all of these tricks, you can like go for more optimal strats. But it's really hard to keep up with all of the tricks for every category and for every bingo goal. So like bingos are mostly optimized in terms of routing, but not always in terms of execution, which is why it's very competitive to have like different people compete with each other. So now this stone wall blocking the exit is gone now. I'm just having to pause to fix a cutscene pointer, which is relevant for the success of the wrong warp. Alright, this is wrong warp. Maybe Deku Tree wrong warp is one of the more famous ones, but there are so many different ways to wrong warp in this game, it's crazy. And there are different setups for every wrong warp as well. I'll quickly see. Wait. Oh my god. Wait. I hit the Deku Nut button late. That was really weird. Yeah, so what happens is you load up the pause menu. That allows you to override a part of the memory that is like not properly deallocated, like it remains in the RAM. And from that point on, it just points to data that will be like executed from this wrong warp doing weird stuff and not crash the game pretty much. Like this is kind of more neutral data in that sense. This is a really horrible explanation and people who know about the intrinsics will probably cry right now. But yeah, I'm kind of weirded out by why I was late on the nut drop there. Like there are hundreds of setups you have to memorize and most of them are really like fail-safe. But it's quite finicky to get the timing down for everything. So yeah, it's just like in this area you want to have the pause menu open. I forgot to equip nuts. I'll do that. That's no problem. Like I can pause as often as I want. That's early. Let's just... Wait, there's a slight delay for that as well. Are you kidding me? Okay, I can salvage this. Are you kidding me? Okay. Relax, we got this. So there's a delay between when you're throwing the Deku Nut and when you're coming to a halt. And that was 1 frame off there. Like, that was the unfortunate part. There's like 2 to 3 minutes of content left. So it's really just leaving the door and then not having to worry about anything else. So I'll go a tiny bit overestimate. Like this is a weird setup to fail as well. Like a lot of tricks are hard because you have to hit a precise frame after waiting a long time. Like weird shots require you to wait like maybe 2 seconds before you're rolling. And this one is a very intuitive timing. It's just I haven't done this setup in a year or something. And I don't know, like usually you don't fail these types of setups. Like for example, this jump slash is a 2-frame input window and you can just press A and then B and it's good. Never give up indeed. Trust your instincts. Wait, that was a different game. But thanks for the support, guys. And yeah, I guess like there's a similar wrong warp that you can do as child in former any%. But it has a different setup and it has slightly different timings, and there's like 4 or 10 different variations for it. And yeah, this is like all frame perfect movement, but it's easier because these are like preset things. Wait. So I'm required to exit the door in a very specific way. Okay, now's the easy stuff, right? So if I hadn't paused in the menu, it would have just turned into a black screen. So now I'm in the inside of Ganon's tower. I wrong warp to the castle collapse, but if you save warp, you get to the before Ganondorf place. Actually, let's use tech units. Alrighty, we got this. Yeah, so I just need to step through one room and then like finish collecting the 2 silver rupee rooms. This is what usually fighting Stalfos looks like, and it's not hard, I swear, like anybody can pick this up. The shield even protects you from some attacks. But yeah, I don't know. So the bingo community is really diverse. We have people from all over the world, and anybody's welcome to try those out. It's a super cool thing. It's not really stressful, like the mentality is also different. Actually, I should do this differently. I did not hit the other one. Okay, that one has collision still while despawning, so I wouldn't want to deal with that right now. I just need to get here to get to the Ganondorf boss door. That one will be the final boss door I'm opening. And yeah, then it's back to the silver rupee room, so I'll just save warp to get back down again. I may use this. Alright, so we got these covered. And yeah, as I mentioned, like bingo is very easy to get into. You don't need to have run any other RTA category whatsoever. It's easy to pick up a few basic glitches such as door of time skip, forest escape, and getting explosives in some way. You don't need to learn like crazy intricacies of, let's say, reverse bottle adventure. But there are awesome tutorials for that, like way better than what I could pull off during a run. So that's one silver rupee room. And the next one we're getting is going to be... drum roll. Fire trial? Sure, fire trial sounds good. All of the other things require you to have Zelda's Lullaby, which I never obtained. It's so basic to the game, but for speedrunning you can do so much without it. So I'm just going to go through the trial. This also allows me to utilize my strength. You can do it without strength. Like, strength is never mandatory in this game. You can do everything without it as well. But yeah, it's just more convenient. If you have it and you can get it for free, why not utilize it? So in case anyone is interested, we have a lot of like beginner-friendly things. There are a lot of other new people who ask questions, so you don't have to feel silly if you can't figure out a trick after ages. By the way, time is coming up, as in now. I forgot to mention that. So we got the 10th Silver Rupee room. I can't really showcase that much. I've beaten the Deku Tree and got the reward for it. And I've opened the 3 boss key doors in Ganon's castle, Fire Temple, Water Temple. I got the Ice Cavern heart piece over there. I got the 6 unused keys there and 10 Silver Rupee rooms. I kept track of those. Alright, thanks guys. Sorry for going over time with this. Like, this is my worst bingo time in a long time. But yeah, the bingo community is really diverse. You have all sorts of skill levels. If you want to check it out, there's always helpful people around. I'll just post an invite link into chat. I hope all of you will have a wonderful and enjoyable marathon. Thanks for having me. Actually, this is not the last time I'm here. The next one will actually be a proper run. And yeah, I'm looking forward to watching the rest of the 2 weekends. I hope we'll get to enjoy a lot more donations as well. Have a wonderful weekend and take care. Bye.
Alright, welcome back after Ocarina of Time bingo. We've seen some pretty interesting glitches on that one, pretty glitch heavy. Oh yeah, note to self, mute the stream. Or you're in the first place for a surprise. I hope you're guys enjoying NASA so far. I certainly am. Thank you for all of your donations. We're only $15 short to reach $300 after just a couple of hours. So make sure to donate if you can. All of your donations are going straight to Save the Children. Since Save the Children's founding over 100 years ago, they have changed the lives of over 1 billion children. Save the Children works in 120 countries, including the US, and in 2018 reached 134 million children through their comprehensive programming and emergency response. Thank you so much again for all the money you've donated towards Save the Children. Make sure to keep the donations coming. If you'd like, we have some incentives and some bid wars you might wanna spend your money on. We have Pokemon Stadium. This is the run that's coming up now. It's gonna take about 2 hours, and at the end of the run, we hope to see an additional minigame speedrun. So you still have about 2 hours to bid for that. We are right now at $55, right? $55. $55 out of $150. We are $95 short, so make sure to keep those donations coming. Make sure to choose that as your incentive when donating. And right now, the next run is Pokemon Stadium. Aside from this incentive, we also have one for the next run, the run after that, which is Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. Right now, the state of that is Totodile is winning, and as of now, is going to be the Pokemon of choice for the entirety of the run. You still have the rest, the other 8 to choose from. The entire choice is between Totodile, Bellossom, Chikorita, Cyndaquil, Marill, Pichu, Pikachu, Sentret, and Togepi. So right now, Totodile is winning with just $20, so it's not, if you want to make sure Totodile wins, you can still pay up some more so that it's harder for other people to come up with anything else. But it's not too big if you still want to snipe any other Pokemon. That's coming up in just 2 hours, so make sure you don't miss that. Make sure you don't miss that donations. I would also like to read out quickly a summary of a report that Save the Children has done recently. I'll link it for you guys in just a second, so you can read it in full if you would like, which I highly encourage you to. According to a Save the Children report released this week, it was revealed that the most disadvantaged counties in the US are mostly communities of color and nearly all are rural, poor, and concentrated in the south. The bottom-ranked counties are also the same areas that are being hit hardest by the effects of the coronavirus pandemic. The county rankings in the third US complement to the Global Childhood Report are based on 4 factors that cut childhood short: hunger, dropping out of school, teenage pregnancy, and early death due to poor health, accident, murder, or suicide. Among the more than 2,600 counties examined and ranked, over 90% of the bottom-ranked counties are rural, nearly 2/3 are in the south, and 3/4 contain non-white majority populations. Children living in bottom-ranked counties die at rates up to 5 times of those of children in the highest-ranked counties in their state. They are also up to 3 times as likely to struggle with hunger, 14 times as likely to drop out of high school, and girls are 26 times more likely to get pregnant in their teens. The national findings also reveal that 1 in every 8 children across America experiences shockingly high rates of hunger, dropping out of school, teenage pregnancy, and/or child death. Save the Children is calling on America's policymakers at all levels of government to work together to robustly support children regardless of where they live, craft strong child-centric policies, provide sufficient resources, and create an appropriate environment for relevant early childhood programs and interventions to flourish. Betsy Zorio, Vice President of US Program and Advocacy from Save the Children, has this to say: "A child does not decide where to live, and where a child grows up should not dictate his or her future. We need targeted new investments for the most vulnerable children who are being left behind, because childhood should not be left to chance." Raising a more successful generation of children will benefit our nation and the world for years to come. Today's children are tomorrow's engineers, nurses, teachers, firefighters, entrepreneurs, investors, humanitarians, and simply put, leaders. We at NASA Marathon agree wholeheartedly with this message and hope that you will donate to help Save the Children continue to pursue these goals. If you would like to learn more about this issue and how Save the Children is helping to further systematic change, you can read about the report linked in the chat. Right. Okay. So yeah, so far we have raised $285 for Save the Children, and we're hoping to get even more. Reminder that this is just the beginning of our marathon. NASA this year has 2 weekends that we'll stream on. The schedule of both is in the chat right now. This is just the beginning of the first weekend. We're also going to be live in a week. And you can donate throughout these 2 periods of time and watch speedruns with us, and I'm hoping you'll enjoy both these weekends with us. Playing games fast just as we love, helping children while we can. Right, and even if you think your donation might not be big enough, remember that $10 can provide high nutrition peanut paste to a excuse me. I'm just... Once you start doing this thing, it's impossible to avoid this. $10 can provide high nutrient peanut paste to a malnourished child for 10 days. So even $10 can help by quite a lot. So don't hesitate to donate just because your donation seems like it's too low for you. Right. Yeah, we're still setting up for the next run, which is Pokemon Stadium. And we'll see you soon with that. We also we talk about the 2 upcoming incentives, which you can say Polish tongue twister, so even if you mess up English words, you're a king. Okay. W Szczebrzeszynie chrząszcz brzmi w trzcinie. Try to repeat that. The next one is, for example, the final name chase of Diddy Kong Racing, which has just 1 position right now, and it's BLM at $15. And I'm told we're ready. So take over whenever. Thank you for your attention. I'll see you the next intermission. Thank you very much.